Thank you for tuning in. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is part 2 in our notable Christmas bread series. Okay, secrets contained in the second server at Benghazi with nuke stuff, recovered by the Benghazi team, wasn't supposed to happen. One tech guy got a look at it, debriefed, and confiscated. Here it comes in 6 tweets. Take a deep breath. FBI official very close to me confirms everyone's worst suspicions. The Hillary Clinton email server was merely a distraction from the Clinton Foundation, and most of Washington, D.C. is in up to their necks in what could be the biggest scandal of all times. This inside info comes from someone who is a high-level FBI analyst whose job was to look at the records, with his notes added. The smoking gun is about to arrive, and there are a lot of people involved. To save everyone time, what follows here are the choice bits. Looks like Trump and Putin hold some of the cards. This could be the most interesting election ever. Okay, from November 2016. There is intense pressure within the FBI for us not to indict Hillary. I am sending this from a position of near anonymity and enough plausible deniability to evade prosecution, as we have all been given gag orders. There is enough for Hillary and the entire government to be brought down. People do not realize how enormous this whole situation actually is. Whether she will be indicted or not depends on how much info about others involved gets out, and there are a lot of people involved. The real point of interest is the Clinton Foundation, not the email server. Okay, so obviously this is from 2016, not just a couple months ago. We received the server from Benghazi. Then from the server, we found data on the Clinton Foundation. Then we realized the situation is much worse than previously thought. Super classified materials on the Clinton email server. Hillary had special access programs on her server, which we already knew, which, if made public, would literally cause an uprising and possibly foreign declarations of war. A special access program is an intelligence program classified above top secret. These programs are supposed to be held on closed servers at secret locations. The only way to get one is if you are specifically read on into a program, have a need to know, then you must physically go to a location and pass through several layers of security to even look at the program. A good example is non-classified terms would be the locations and operations of our intelligence operatives around the globe or our missile silo locations. A bigger problem than Hillary. Killing Hillary would not cause this problem to go away. The problem is with the Clinton Foundation, as I mentioned, which you should just imagine as a massive spiderweb of connections and money laundering implicating hundreds of high-level people. Though I do not have a high opinion of Hillary, she is just a piece, albeit a big piece, of this massive storm. Legal is asking preliminary questions about whether or not she has been coached. She has, and setting up the general line of questioning. I am a high-level analyst, though, so my job is only to look at her records. Wow, no wonder they don't want this stuff to get out. If Trump knows about this, and he does, there is no doubt that this is the card he is holding, the big card. You have 3 choices. A, turn over all the information to the Department of Justice, make public a recommendation, the truth comes out, the entire world realizes how much the U.S. is meddling in foreign affairs, and we go to war. The civilian population realizes how much foreign money influences our government, and a civil war begins. Cherry-pick the data to implicate the people already in the public eye of public opinion, so the chips fall on the heads of select few, and the whole system does not crash. This is exactly what President Trump and his team are doing right now. C, do nothing and watch the unstable political climate to gauge how you will respond. I am confident if Trump wins, Hillary will be going to jail, and that is what they won't allow that to happen at any cost. The problem is the entire government. So true. FBI Director Comey will likely resign in any case. FBI is being very quiet for a reason. Most of us want to keep our jobs. Snowden has nothing to do with any of this. Obama and Hillary do hate each other. Hillary hates black people and Obama dislikes recklessness. The problem is with the entire government. Hillary is just one component of that government. Hillary sold safe access programs to overseas donors. All I can tell you about the safe access programs is Hillary had them, and she did not have proper authority to have any of them. They were leaked to her by someone, and she did sell them to overseas donors. Possessing them alone makes her guilty of treason. Obama is loosely tied to the Clinton Foundation, but much more tied in with the same people who donate to the Clinton Foundation. Russian borders, Ukraine, everywhere NATO is, the South China Sea, the Philippines, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Africa. And just think, guys, we know that China had access to Hillary's server. Whether she was given that access or they just hacked in, I tend to lean towards the fact that they were given the access. Pardon me. George Soros is at the heart of all of this. If it comes down to it, I would fight. But most of us are of the opinion that Hillary will not be president, and having Trump in office makes our job that much easier. But right now, we have to carefully wade through the mud. As I stated before, Bill Clinton likely wanted Loretta Lynch to focus on the email server and shy away from prosecuting the foundation. Needless to say, if anyone has any doubts about the validity of the above info, it stands to reason that the originator has to conceal his identity. Anyone present at the FBI hearings was sworn to secrecy, and leaking any info would at least cost him his job and most likely add some jail time to boot. Worst case scenario, someone probably would put a contract out on him. Most of us know, at least the ones who have paid any attention to politics know, that in the past, many who have crossed the Clintons meet an unexplainable early demise. Ron Brown and Vince Foster were no exceptions. Oh, guys, we're going to have to do a video on the Clinton body count. I feel it. 3 of 6. The Department of Justice is most likely looking to save itself. Find everyone involved in the Clinton Foundation, from its donors to its board of directors, and imagine they are all implicated. The entire federal government is involved. My opinion is the entire government is guilty of treason, which is why Hillary's death would not cease the investigation or prevent further scandals. Many, many people are involved. There already is evidence enough to indict with the most severe prosecution. FBI Director Comey has been trying to stall because he does not want to face the Clinton machine, as well as the rest of Washington, D.C. But this case would explode into a million other cases if fully brought to light, and then we would be one agency competing against the entire government and a horde of other interests. It is a very tense and uncomfortable position. What Attorney General Loretta Lynch has said is she would have accepted whatever they do and make her determination as she will. Nothing about her responsibilities has changed. She is simply trying to keep her hide intact. Wow. This makes a lot of sense concerning the way that Huber has been going about his investigation of the Clinton Foundation. It has got to be low-key, guys, because everyone is involved. There are so many strands of this spider web. And if Trump would have just come in and said, you're going to jail, you're going to jail, you're going to jail, he wouldn't have a government left. He had to get in there. He had to get his people in there. And then he had to clean house once that happened. Foreign powers have some of the documents. Russia will probably leak all info they have. Foreign powers are in possession of some of the documents we have analyzed because they were hacked from the Clinton server. The leaks will have to be made in a non-transparent fashion. If we recommend, we literally hand over documentation implying the entire government is involved in treason at the highest levels and everyone is about to duck and cover, as well as some sensitive details of special access programs which would obliterate national security. I am not sure, but some of my war strategy buddies are estimating a high probability that Russia will leak all of the info they have to the world, since Clinton wants to go to war with them and they have no desire to be in conflict with the U.S. If we do not recommend, it will look like a cover-up and Trump will use the perception to bolster his message. I did work in PSYOPs once, and Trump's use of confirmation bias is legendary. If Trump wins, Hillary goes to jail. Everything is corrupt. The entire government is corrupt. No one is clean. We have our hands tied. My message to you and everyone on this board is do not get distracted by Clinton's emails. Focus on the foundation. All of the nightmarish truth is there. The emails will pale in comparison. A multitude of scandals. Saudi Arabia visits and donates to the Clinton Foundation. Russian uranium fiasco. Hillary in the Israel lobby. The Council on Foreign Relations. AIPAC. The list is endless. Also, this is the standing issue of the Davy Crockett's and the fact that Obama approved the transfer of several of them to the Syrian rebels. We now know that they have fallen into the hands of the enemy. That's right. Obama gave nukes to the enemy of not only the United States, but Russia as well. There are 3 choices that could crash everything. I will put it to you this way. Oh, Lord. This is why Iran is so important. This is why they have talked about Iran and why we had to cancel the deal with Iran. Everything. Oh my God, this is everything, you guys. 4 of 6. So between what was on the servers, the Davy Crockett's, the lifted restrictions, the $150 billion, there is enough evidence to convict the Obamas and the Clintons and many, many more members of the government of high treason. Trump was given some of this data 2 years ago. He has known all along. Trump's conversation with Obama on November 10th was about this exact subject. This is high treason. Nuclear information sold to our enemies, punishable by death. That is why all Democrats, all Republicans, and all media was against Trump. They all know what happens now. When Hillary got the news that she lost Pennsylvania, she had a major seizure, which is why she couldn't address the crowd Tuesday night. Now they are seeking the 2020 candidate who will be pushed with a $3 billion fund to place him or her in the White House. Soros, Clinton's, Obama, and a huge list of people are going down. They will try to push back the trials and try to get a Democrat in 2024 so that they can all be pardoned. Stay informed. Do not believe what you hear on TV. They are all involved. We are one. With truth, we can unite. With lies, we are divided. Great. This is great. This is before Q. And they are confirming everything that we have suspected or the things that we have learned over time. 5 of 6. Ultimately, Hillary sold weapons and coordinates of the Chinook copter carrying the 12 SEALs that killed bin Laden, along with the rocket that killed them, to the bin Laden family. Wow! She used Stevens to arrange the transfer of funds, which was $1.2 billion to the Clinton Foundation in Swiss accounts. In the deal was nuclear information from classified files from the 70s. She had Stevens in the Pentagon getting a server to take with him to Benghazi. There was a backup server. That was the one in her closet. She then allowed the bin Ladens to amass the people to raided Stevens' compound. Stevens had no idea what he brokered, and he had no idea that server contained top secret nuclear files. No wonder she did not want to send a rescue mission in there. She needed him to die so that it could not be put back on her. The plan was going great until the SEALs and CIA guys from the other compound went over to assist. She did not know they were going to assist, and they were ordered to stand down. The plan was to kill Stevens and his guys, and in the process allow the bin Laden family to have nuclear secrets to one day avenge their son. The plan went south when those guys from the other compound refused to stand down. They get to the compound in time to rescue a few guys, and what else? They ended up with the server. Once word got back to the White House that Stevens' guys were rescued, Hillary ordered a complete stand down to the rescue mission and then told the commander of the invading force to attack the other compound. By that time, she wanted everyone dead and the enemy to have that server. During the attack on Compound 2, a tech guy got into the server. They knew something was very, very odd. What did they find? Top secret nuclear files. They immediately break standard protocol and transfer the files to a top secret server in case they are overran. By this time, Hillary has already fabricated the story that a pastor in California made a YouTube video that caused a mob to attack. A total lie. 6 of 6. She then, to fulfill her end of the deal, starts emailing the files to random staff members on accident while allowing the bin Laden family to intercept the data while it was in motion. At this point, some of her staff planned to defect. It was these people who were ultimately leaking the DNC emails to WikiLeaks. She was told the Benghazi server was destroyed, and she believed it. At least she hoped it was true. Little did she know that it was at that time our own intel community began to hack her personal emails as well as while giving them to Julian Assange, the NSA. The day before the election, they were going to drop this bomb to destroy her, but by that time, they knew Trump was going to win. Here is even more crazy information. List of senators who know about it. There was a total of $1.7 trillion given in grants to spread the wealth to try to sweep things under the rugs. Things were getting very desperate for many. The money was granted by Obama to Mideast nations, then given back to our politicians through a series of Swiss entities. The Clintons have hundreds of these entities alone. The money was granted by Obama to Mideast nations, then given back to our politicians through a series of Swiss entities. John McCain is at the top of the list of recipients. He and other Republicans. Just trace those who campaigned against Trump to it, and it will lead to all who are guilty. And it gets even crazier. Chris Stevens had a few more gifts that he did not know anything about. These gifts were 7 Davy Crockett M388 nuclear mortars. Obama had the weapons declassified and transferred to the Syrians through a group in Benghazi. Ultimately, that'd be the Syrian rebels, I'd imagine. Ultimately, in September, one of these weapons were used and killed nearly 20 Russian troops in Syria. That's right. American nukes killing Russian troops. Remember, Putin ordered 40 million Russian citizens to perform a nuclear evacuation. That was his response to send a message to Hillary what he was preparing for if she got in. Now we know that the remaining 6 Davy Crockett's are in the hands of Iran. We also know that Obama have lifted the nuclear restrictions on Iran. We also know that Obama gave Iran $150 billion. This is why it was so important. All right, so this is from FBI analyst Drops on Benghazi alleges Obama sent nukes to Iran. Hillary sold special access programs, and most of Congress is bribed by the cash Obama sent to Iran, and more. Wow. Got it from another anon's post that was being ignored and needed more eyes on. I do not know if it's true or untrue or partially, but it rings true and it fits things we know or suspect. If true and proven by Sauce, it would be central to Q's message. And maybe it's no accident that 2016 drop was redropped just now. No accident indeed. This is bombshell. I don't care that it's a couple years old. This information is very, very compelling. And it really explains to me why they have acted the way they have. Of course this can't get out because it is treason. And that's why President Trump tweeted, "Treason. Merry Christmas." All right. And here in this next breadcrumb, we have an excellent proof having to do with Jesse Wade Stite's Arlington gravesite and some other connections. All right, so if everyone will remember, back in October, on Halloween last year, October 2017, there was a post that said, "Get the popcorn. Friday and Saturday will deliver on the MAGA promise. POTUS knows that he must clean house government in order to free up and demonstrate who has authority in order to pass important legislation. This was always the priority. Remember, AG Sessions cannot look like an impartial player that is out to get all former Obama team members, as we need him for other important work." And I think that we know what that important work was now. He needed to set the stage for Huber and everything else. All will come into focus, and for anyone to think POTUS is not in control is kidding themselves. Also, he's 100% insulated with zero risk of impeachment. Fact. All right, let's take a look. On January 19th, 2018, he posted, "Remember this day." And look at that. The date that Jesse Wade Stites passed away was January 19th. All right, what else is special about January 19th? It's National Popcorn Day. Now, remember that we had that cryptic poem on the 17th of June in 2018. D. Morning sun brings heat. Full moon coming. Undiscovered stars learned. Missions forward. We had General Flynn change his background to the sun, morning sun. And the 20th, January 20th of 2018 is a full moon. Now, the 18th and 19th, right here, again, Friday and Saturday, delivering on the MAGA promise. 19th is National Popcorn Day. Very, very interesting. I'd say that this is certainly a compelling proof. Now, here's another proof along those lines. This anon says, "Let's try this again. Morning sun," referring to the Flynn Twitter pic. "Undiscovered stars equals the ones that are not generally known will be outed via Spacey testimony," perhaps because that whole Spacey thing came out yesterday. Full moon on December 22nd. I think that it's probably referring to the full moon on January 20th. Missions forward in multiple cabal tweets. So again, we have the post. We have General Flynn's background. Pope Francis on November 30th, 2018, "Let us ask the Lord for grace to leave everything in order to go forward in proclamation and witness just as Peter and Andrew did." And Obama, don't have a date on this one. "There's no better time than the holidays to give back to your community. Yesterday, I got to do just that with Children's Health. As we celebrate the season and look forward to 2019, let's recommit to doing our part to build a world that is a little more generous, tolerant, and kind. Or a little easier to live in because you're on the run from the law." And of course, in case people did not see my last video, Kevin Spacey shared a very, very weird video yesterday with his House of Cards theme. He was acting like his character, Frank Underwood from House of Cards. And it came out on the day that it was announced he was being indicted for his behavior, where he assaulted a young man who was a waiter at a restaurant. So let's just look through this real quick. Kevin Spacey shared a bizarre video of himself Monday as his Frank Underwood character from Netflix's House of Cards, after authorities announced he faces a felony charge for allegedly sexually assaulting the teenager son of former WCVB news anchor Heather Unruh at a Nantucket bar in July 2016. The Boston Globe was the first to report that Cape and Islands District Attorney Michael O'Keefe said the actor will be arraigned on a charge of indecent assault and battery on January 7th, 2019 at Nantucket District Court. Kevin Spacey has not commented. I'm not going to read any more. I'm not going to go over the video again because I did a video specifically on that. If you guys want to check that out, I guess I'll link that at the end of this video in the cards. But this is very, very strange. Kevin Spacey may be giving a message to the people that he previously was involved with in his escapades. I'd also like to mention that Kevin Spacey was holding a cup from the Queen in that video. So was his message explicitly also to the royal family? We'll hopefully find out very soon. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this has been part 2 of Notable Christmas Bread. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope everyone has a wonderful day.